Hi, welcome to Mondays with Marcia. I'm Representative Marcia Judkins from the Utah State House of Representatives, and I'm here to talk Utah politics with you. So in 2018, the voters of Utah passed an initiative to set up a redistricting commission that would draw maps for how our Senate districts, House district, congressional districts would be drawn. And the Utah legislature didn't really like that, so we went in and monkeyed with it and actually ended up not accepting any of the maps that redistricting commission put forward. So there were groups that sued Utah over that, and a few weeks ago, the Utah Supreme Court did issue a ruling, and they didn't really touch the part about the redistricting part, but they did touch the part about how much can the legislature monkey around with an initiative that has been passed by the majority of voters. And so the Utah legislature kind of freaked out and called an emergency special session so that we could look at a bill that would change the Constitution to say that we could do anything we want with a citizens initiative. So anyway, I just want to talk a little bit about the misinformation today that's been going around about the Supreme Court ruling. So the first piece that I want to address is what I hear my colleagues saying is that this Supreme Court ruling creates super laws that the legislature cannot touch, and that's so dangerous because what if the initiative is going to bankrupt the state, or what if it's going to legalize recreational cannabis or do something else that is clearly not in the best interest of the state? So we have to overturn the Supreme Court ruling through a law, right? Like change the Constitution. Well, this is simply not true. An analysis by our own legislative legal team, I want to read it to you, says, in a unanimous decision authored by Justice Peterson, the court held that the legislature cannot substantively, missed that word, amend or repeal a citizen initiative that reforms government. So it's only dealing with, I think there's maybe been two that have ever tried to alter or reform government, right? Unless the legislature can show that the amendment is narrowly tailored to advance a compelling government interest. So even if it is something that alters or reforms government, if there is a compelling government interest and we can show that, it just raises that bar a little bit, then we can still look at that and say, no, that's not going to work. We need to change that, right? So don't listen to that if you hear that. Okay, another thing that I've heard is that the passage of this constitutional amendment that's going to be on the ballot in November will put the power back in the hands of the people. Well, guess what? In our Constitution currently, the power is already in the hands of the people. This will take, if this constitutional amendment passes in November, it will take power away from the people. Let me read to you a little bit out of our Utah Constitution currently. All political power is inherent in the people, and all free governments are founded on their authority for their equal protection and benefit, and they have the right to alter or reform their government as the public welfare may require. So that's already in the Constitution, and what the Utah legislature wants to insert into this is, except for when the legislature wants to repeal or amend whatever the people decide to do. So that wasn't in exactly legal speak, but that's how they want to amend the Utah Constitution. Another thing I keep hearing is, if we don't pass this amendment, we are going to become like California. I think that's such a tired trope. We're not going to become like California. We have completely different people here. We have completely different laws that govern the initiative process. It's very easy to get something on the ballot in California from a citizens initiative standpoint. It's very difficult to do that here in Utah. So we're not going to become like California. Don't let that sway your vote on this issue. The citizen initiative process is there to put a check on the legislature, and I think it's a very important check. It's a difficult check. It shouldn't be used all the time, but it is there as a check to the Utah legislature, and I think that that's really important to keep in mind. Another thing I've heard is that the Supreme Court has overstepped its bounds with this ruling. No, it hasn't. This is actually the Supreme Court's job to provide their opinion on the constitutionality of a law. And that's what they did. All this being said, I do support the legislature being able to amend or change an initiative, the language of initiative, as long as we can show that it is in the best interest of the state to do so. I also think that the most important check on the legislature is through the citizens' right to vote. And so I would encourage you that if you're not already registered to vote, that you get registered. You can go to vote.utah.gov and register very easily. And then in November, go and vote. Anyway, thank you for listening. Please let me know if you have any questions.